You may remember that we had Edwin Diaz on our wish list for the Seattle Mariners this offseason. Well, the former Mariners reliever just signed a record-breaking deal back with the Mets. Now, sources confirm, according to Ken Rosenthal, Mets are in agreement with closer Edwin Diaz and a 5-year, $102 million contract that includes a $12 million signing bonus. First, Bob Nightingale, boo Bob. Also, Alex with this sick profile picture says late. Thanks, Alex. More from Rosenthal here. He says the signing bonus is a record. So that $12 million signing bonus for reliever is a record. The deal also includes an opt-out as well as a full no trade clause and a 6th-year club option. So Diaz could end up with the Mets for 6 years instead of 5. As Bob Nightingale notes, it will be the largest contract for a reliever in history. More than Aroldis Chapman, more than Liam Hendriks, more than Rafael Iglesias, Edwin Diaz is that guy. And we all know Electric Eddie D. We saw him come up with the Mariners and then leaving that trade with Robinson Cano for Jared Kelenic. Looking at Edwin's 2022 season, he was absolutely insane. He was an all-star this year in 2022 with a 1.31 ERA in 62 innings. He struck out 118 batters, good for a 17.1 strikeouts per 9. Edwin Diaz also put up one of the highest ERA pluses by a reliever in history at 297. To put into terms just how good Edwin Diaz was, let's look at Mariano Rivera. Mariano Rivera had an ERA plus north of Edwin Diaz's 297 only once in his career, down here in 2005 at 308. Yeah, I said 2005 weird there. Get over it. Also, I'm lying to you. 2008, he also had a 316. Bruh. Edwin Diaz is 28 years old, so this 5-year deal is going to take him till he is almost 33 years old. And the question is for us, would the Mariners have ever given Edwin Diaz this deal? Would the Mariners have been willing to spend $20 million on Edwin Diaz? And in my opinion, I really don't think they would have, and here's why. The Mariners already have a really good bullpen, and as a lot of people in our comment section have noted, that the Mariners' money would have been much better spent elsewhere than on a bullpen pitcher like Edwin Diaz, a closer of sorts. And spending $20 million on a reliever just seems insane when the Mariners have such bigger shoes to fill than they do in the bullpen. Of course, the hope and dream is that the Mariners spend $30+ million a year on one of the big name shortstops. So signing Edwin Diaz just would not have made much sense to them. Of course, it would have been great to have a back end of the bullpen reliever that would dominate everybody out of the closer's role, but it really does feel like Andres Munoz can do that next year with a much cheaper contract. As for the Mets, this is very surprising they would give him that much money, a $100 million deal, when they already have such a high payroll. According to Spotrac here, after everything, after arbitration, retained salary, so on and so forth, the Mets already have a payroll of $219 million, and the competitive balance tax threshold is at $233 million. So it really does seem like the Mets are very okay with going over that, and this is without re-signing Brandon Nimmo, Michael Conforto, or Jacob deGrom. Just to take a look at the Mariners version of this right now, it looks like they have about $122 million in salary next year in 2023, basically half of what the Mets are going to be paying. So the fact of the matter is, the Mariners could have easily paid this much money for Edwin Diaz, but I think that just like all the rest of us think, it'd be better for them to use that money elsewhere on one of these shortstops. Again, we had Edwin Diaz in our offseason plan. We really wanted to see Electric Eddie D home, but we all kind of also knew it wasn't very realistic. We're just going to make this video seem a little different, but on the screen now we have a video telling you what we want from the offseason for the Mariners. Go ahead and check that out. I appreciate you guys watching this one, and go Mariners.